Thank you, that's correct. Section 7 of Amendment 46B specifically of information that should be offered to any woman who is given a diagnosis of a life-limiting condition for her son or daughter. This is particularly important section, as we all heard many stories of parents who received a heartbreaking diagnosis that their child may not live long. And one horrifyingly common theme ran through many of those emotional testimonies shared by parents whose common termination and parents who choose life. Most of those parents repeated their experience of being told by a doctor in Ireland that their child had a serious condition and was likely to die, and that many women in their situation choose to travel to the UK, and they often report then being left alone and heartbreaking to process this news. To think that our doctors did not always, as a matter of course, ensure that these parents weren't informed about parental hospice care or palliative care, or did not inform them of counselling services, that they did not inform them maybe a support group of parents who had received a similar diagnosis, or that they did not inform them of the chance, however remote, that their child might live. These failings of professionals in Ireland failing to inform women and couples of all supports that an incredibly vulnerable time should break all of our hearts, and should be a clear reminder just why this amendment is so important to ensure all women and all parents getting such a difficult diagnosis are given information on all supports available to them. And unfortunately, Deputy, I hate talking about a person when they've gone out, but every time she makes a famous statement, she runs out the door. So I have no other choice but make I suppose, look at some of the issues she raised in her discussion, which she's entitled. I have to respect that. But I wanted to, I suppose, explain to her about the fairy stories that she spoke about last week when we spoke about the Canadian lady who had survived an abortion. She doesn't seem to have seen the video during the week of a lady who lives in Ireland who did survive an abortion, and how insulted she was, and how insulted tens of thousands of women right across the world would have been talking about their fairy stories. Like, that's a shocking insult by Deputy O'Connell on women of this country that survived abortions and the horrific state went through. And for her to comment on her fellow women like that is an appalling statement.